Who threw in Andrew Tate there? I'm Top G. Hey everybody, my name is Rosalie. Welcome to Rose Talks. You may know me from my YouTube channel, Rosalie React, where we're all about world music and psychology, exploring artists from all around the world, talking about the lyrics, getting into the psychology. But I decided to start a brand new YouTube channel. There's so much content out there that we need to talk about. I want this channel to be all about reacting to, discussing, having conversations about all kinds of topics. The sky is our limit. In a world where it feels like things are more and more polarized or opposite extremes, I think it's important that we can come together and have eloquent and educated conversations and learn and grow listening to things from all around the world. That's what I want this YouTube channel to be about. So welcome, make sure to subscribe, be part of the team that starts this and gets this up and running. You never know where this channel is going to go, and you may be part of the people that say, I was there from the get-go. So make sure to subscribe, like, comment, share. Let me know where you're watching from. Today, I want to introduce you to a young lady named Pearl Davis. She has been taking off on YouTube. I think she has a few different accounts, but her main one is called Just Pearly Things, I believe. And she talks a lot about male and female relationships, feminism, masculinity, and all that type of stuff. It's quite interesting. And I think she has done quite well in polarizing. Some people love her, some people hate her. But I want to look at a couple of her snippets with you today, just to give you a feel for who I'm talking about and just to get this started. So here we go.
I've been in I went to Martinique. I don't know if you've heard of
Yeah, I've been there. It's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, it's nice. It's
Yeah.
nice. And like guys there, they're like at this beach would like come up to me, and I'm like, who cares? I'd be like, go away.
I'm Top G.
That's not their fault.
I'm Top G. Who threw in Andrew Tate there? I'm Top G. Okay, so it's interesting because she will share her opinions and talk, but she also interviews people and she will ask questions. And it's interesting to see how she's engaging with her listeners, making sure, that's how I'm interpreting it, she's making sure they're still engaged by sharing and talking, and then in between saying, do you know, have you heard of this? Have you been there? You know what I mean? Asking those short, quick questions, it allows the listener and those listening to you to stay engaged and to pull them back in. Because if you just talk and talk, right, people lose interest or they lose attention. That's interesting that she does that. But it's also funny how she's just kind of to the point. She's just like, go away. I would tell these guys, go away. And then here comes Andrew Tate. I'm Top G. Let's keep listening.
Me again. Like it's annoying, but who cares? Like I've been in I went to Martinique.
See, so she's often talking about this type of thing, I feel. Guys, girls, dynamics between men and women. And she says some straightforward stuff when it comes to women nowadays. Modern women is how often her videos are titled. So her mindset in this regard, I suppose, is when guys come up to a woman and they want to hit on her or talk to her, it's not a big deal just to send them away. There are a lot of women who have expressed being frustrated, not only when it comes to catcalling, I believe it's what it's called, or being talked to, right? This idea of, not an object, leave me alone. And of course, depending on who you talk to, there's different views on it. What do you think? If you're male or female, what are your views on those type of things? Going somewhere and being talked to? To me, I would say it really depends on how it's done. If someone keeps coming back after you've said, no, thank you, I'm taken, I'm married, I'm not interested, please leave me alone, and they keep persisting, of course, there's a level of enough is enough, because at some point it becomes harassment. But I also think the other extreme is when women just call it objectification or harassment or oppression, right? Maybe some would go even as far as that, as soon as they get talked to by strangers. I think we have to understand that though there are exceptions, generally speaking, there are differences between men and women in the way we operate and relate to one another. And I do think that she might be intriguing to many because she's kind of straightforward and to the point. And she doesn't seem to be someone that's going to play victim. She's just going to be like, I'm just going to tell them to go away. It's not a big deal. Who cares? Let's listen to another clip.
Funny because I always hear girls say broke men shouldn't have an opinion, but guys don't say fat chicks shouldn't have an opinion.
It's funny how they're like, oh, savage. The title of this short is Pearl is Savage for this moment. Don't think I've ever heard that before. Someone saying broke men shouldn't have an opinion. That's messed up. That I say, if we're going to argue that if someone says a woman that's fat or so only beautiful women should have an opinion or whatever, any type of stereotyping, stupid stuff like that. If we're going to call that sexism, then so is saying, oh, broke men shouldn't have an opinion. That to me is just as stupid as saying someone without a uterus shouldn't have an opinion on pro-life or pro-choice matters. That, for one, they're shooting themselves in the foot, because that whole topic's getting more complicated, because now people can't decide what a man or woman is, or they want to make it so general that it's going to be messy, and it's scary trying to change dictionaries to the point of what now it's all a feeling. We're not going to talk about that yet. But this idea of only if you have this you're allowed to talk on that is very, very small minded. I can tell you what a dog is even though I'm not a dog. Men are allowed to have an opinion even if they're not a woman, even if it's on women matters, because women sure as heck, especially nowadays, the modern women will have a bunch of opinions about men. And if they were told, oh, only if you're pretty are you allowed to talk about men or have an opinion, we would go, ooh, heck to the no. So I think she has a very valid point here. It's the same double standard. There's definitely a double standard. It's funny though to end with that, oh, she's savage for that, because yeah, there's truth to it, but obviously I think those things are obviously added for that effect. To me, it wasn't the mic drop moment. It's just common sense. But, you got to make those shorts interesting nowadays, I think. All right, let's look at one more.
It's not anything about who you are as a person, but it's what men value. So you can't
Yes.
so you can't go up to guys and say don't value this, because it's what they want. So that's like me selling a car and going up to the people that want to buy a car and say, like this car, and they say, no, I don't want to buy that car because it's got too many miles. And you saying, well, you should like cars with high miles.
Okay, see, this is the type of stuff where I'm like, all right, no lies detected here. We're going to go way deeper into some of her videos and talk about them, and I cannot wait, because there's a whole lot to break down. One of the things I want for this channel is for you to really be able to come as you are, for us to have respectful, educated, eloquent conversations and learn and grow. I will say things that make you mad, perhaps. I'm going to try to be balanced, because I really believe in a holistic approach. And I don't want to be above learning. I may say something and then later on go, okay, this other person said something in the comments that had me thinking. That's valid. Let me add that to what I believe or what I think and my mindset, my understanding. We're all learning and growing. But I will say, I'm excited to check out more of her stuff and share it with you. What I like about even just these clips, just to introduce you to her, if you don't even know about her yet, which you may already, what's interesting here is that she really is not afraid to call things out. In this last clip particularly, we can see that she's trying to because I've seen other videos of her, so I know what she's referring to. She's trying to remind or tell women, you don't get to tell men what they want. So for example, when men say, we like youth, we like women that have not slept with a bunch of people, that don't have a high body count is what they're calling it. We want a woman that is submissive or that knows how to cook and clean and such. And women, if women respond and go, but why should you want that? You shouldn't have an issue with that. It shouldn't bother you. Pearl is comparing that to someone going, you should want to buy this car with high mileage, telling people what they should want. And I do think that's a valid point. I think in our desire to counter and fight toxic masculinity and oppression that really exists in certain places and really was a part of our history, we've swung to the other extreme now where it's become toxic femininity in certain circles. And where I think now this whole movement where people like Pearl and Andrew Tate, I believe is his name, and all these people are leaning towards the other side, and people are drawn to that perhaps in their desire to balance out that other extreme. And I think that's kind of how the world works, where you have one extreme and then the other extreme will try to balance that out, and you just got all these extremes and people going ping pong, ping pong. Though if you spoke to like an average person on the street, most of us probably are somewhere in the middle and we can find common ground. This new movement of people trying to lean back towards allowing men to be men trying to find their worth again and being reminded of what they want and don't want, and women here being told, you don't get to tell men what they want. And I do think, as hard of a pill as that is to swallow, that there's validity to that. As hard as that is to hear, there's validity to that, because we sure as heck don't want that. We've actually been telling men that whole mansplaining thing, and women have been telling men, you don't get to tell us what we're supposed to look like, and we're done with men controlling the fashion industry and controlling what women are supposed to look like, right? But that goes both ways. So I don't know. This is Pearl for you. Interesting. We're going to dive into bigger videos and stuff where she's on panels and podcasts, and it's going to be exciting. I want this channel to really be a place where you can come, where we can learn together. We'll be watching videos from all around the world, and I mean that. Just having all kinds of topics. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be wild. So make sure to be part of it from the get-go. Subscribe. I'm happy you're here. I'll see you on our next trip. Till then.